Welcome guys, welcome to another video. Today I will be watching the Manhattan U-boat. I'm not doing Napoleon today. Sorry guys, I will leave it to tomorrow or the day after. I have to leave a little bit of suspense here. But I was looking at this channel and pretty good content, and I want to see what it was all about. And the title of this video sort of came at me. It was really interesting. The Manhattan U-boat, German submarine, New York City. I mean, what? Never heard about this. Interesting. Second World War, a little bit more different from Napoleon here, too much Napoleon, So I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Leave a like, and let's go in. Dude, I love this music. This guy looks like from
It was called Paukenschlag, or drumbeat
an
in
actor
English,
from
the German operation to extend the U-boat war to the very shores of the United States.
U-boat,
When Hitler declared
the
war
movie.
on the US on the 11th of December 1941, following Japan's attack on Pearl Harbor on the 7th, the Germans decided that it was time to extend the U-boat war west, where defenses were ill-prepared and patchy and hunting opportunities numerous. Since the outbreak of war in September 1939, German U-boats have been trying to starve Great Britain into submission by sinking the merchant ships bringing the beleaguered nation food, raw materials, weapons, and many other essentials from the United States and Canada, and from certain South American countries, particularly Argentina. If Hitler could sever Britain's transatlantic trade, the nation's resistance to him would collapse. Initial successes had begun to fade, as the Royal Navy rapidly developed anti-submarine forces and better convoy protection in the eastern half of the Atlantic. But to attack the Allied supply ships at or near to source along the US and Canadian eastern seaboards where defences were weak could yet break Britain's resolve, and so Operation Drumbeat was formulated and put into action. It would also demonstrate to the Americans the long reach of Hitler, able to send U-boats right to the shores of the United States. From January 1942, German U-boatmen would experience what they called the second happy time, the first being the slaughter of merchant ships at the start of the war in Europe, as long-range U-boats prowled the North American eastern coasts, sinking virtually at will an astounding 609 ships totaling just over 3 million tons, for the eventual loss of just 22 U-boats. Due to the parlous state of U.S. defenses, U-boats became very bold and came close inshore, in one famous case actually right up to New York Harbor, to torpedo and sink ships within sight of the skyscrapers of Manhattan. This is the story of how a German U-boat came within touching distance of America's biggest city in a bold and skillful display of seamanship.
That's insane. I've never heard about this. This is an incredible
For the first phase of Drumbeat, the head of the U-boat service, Admiral Karl Dönitz, could only spare 5 long-range submarines.
He was the head of the
forces were already fully engaged in the eastern and mid-Atlantic on anti-convoy duties. Among the 5 boats which left Europe on the 23rd of December 1941 for America was the Type 9B.
Wait, what?
On the 23rd of December 1941 for America was the Type 9B U-123. One of the largest U-boat types, 194 examples would be completed during the war. The 9B was 251 feet, or 76.5 meters in length, displacing 1,051 tons, with a range of 14,000 miles, or 22,000 kilometers, and a crew of 48, perfect for American operations. Armed with 6 torpedo tubes, 4 in the bow and 2 in the stern, U-123 was loaded with 22 torpedoes, and also had a 10.5 centimeter naval gun for surface actions, as well as 20 and 37 millimeter flak cannons for anti-aircraft defense. In command was an officer who would become a U-boat legend, Kapitänleutnant Reinhard Hardegen. He had been in action since September 1939, previously serving as watch officer aboard U-124 and then as captain of the U-147 off the Scottish coast, where he had successfully sunk a Norwegian freighter.
Hmm.
U-123 had already made several war patrols before Hardigan took over in May 1941. Patrolling off West Africa, Hardigan had sunk a neutral Portuguese.
I cannot even imagine what it must have been like, being in that boat for months on end. You know, especially even though back then, the Germans had very good technology, but it was still extremely cramped. The smell, one toilet for everybody, the food. I mean, the conditions must have been horrible. Especially towards the end of the journey, the more your supplies sort of dwindle, must have been horrible.
Freighter, and in October 1941 torpedoed and damaged the British auxiliary cruiser HMS Urania. For his patrol to America,
Urine.
Hardigan was ordered to take U-123 close inshore and penetrate the area around New York City, where large numbers of Allied merchant ships should be.
What a mission.
Due to
Oof.
secrecy, the
Take New
Kriegsmarine
York.
had no up-to-date maps of the area,
What?
Hardigan having to rely on his nautical charts and a pocket atlas, being
Oh,
ignorant of US defenses.
guys, he had a pocket atlas. I mean, if I had
Hardigan
a
was
pocket atlas, I'll be able to do it.
also not a well man, still suffering the effects of an air crash from 1936, as he had originally started out as a naval aviator before transferring to the U-boat branch.
Reinhardt? What the fuck? Dude, those people, man, they don't make them as they used to in terms of humans. I can't do that. Okay? I crash in a plane, it's over. There's no like, oh, I'm gonna, become a captain of the U-boat.
He had a
He,
shortened leg and chronic bleeding of the stomach that
oh,
necessitated a special diet, but
of
Hardigan was
course.
determined to take
Special diet,
U-123 into action
fucking
once
hole in your
again.
stomach.
By the 12th of January 1942, Hardigan had his boat 125 miles southeast of Cape Sable, Nova
Hmm.
Scotia, when he attacked the Holt and Company steamship SS Cyclops, an
Cyclops.
old ship that had remarkably survived 2 torpedo attacks in World War One. Hardigan slammed a G7A torpedo into her starboard side. The
Let me
crew
guess.
began to
Oof.
abandon ship, and 29 minutes later, Hardigan fired again, this time sinking the Cyclops.
Two?
46 passengers and 1 Army gunner manning the ship's defensive weapons died. The rest of the crew was saved. Hardigan now approached New York.
Hmm.
Operation Drumbeat commenced officially on the 13th of January 1942, with all
Hmm.
5 U-boats beginning attacks along the American
That's
coast.
insane. In
Motoring on the
1942.
surface, U-123 moved towards New York City.
Uh huh.
Hardigan was delighted to discover that the Montauk Point lighthouse at the tip of Long Island was still operational on the 13th of January, providing an excellent navigational beacon.
Oh my god.
Through powerful optics atop the Conning Tower Bridge, Hardigan and his officers could see many towns and settlements ashore fully lit up. Even car headlights could be discerned moving along coast roads.
That's insane. I've
All
never
this
heard
light
about this.
provided a perfect backdrop to illuminate ships at sea to be targeted by the U-boats. At a point about 60 miles off Montauk Point, Hardigan came upon the Norness, a Panamanian registered motor tanker. On the 14th of January at 0834 hours, Hardigan slammed a torpedo into
Yeah.
the tanker. A second struck the ship at 0.
I mean, you think, if you're a captain of a ship that close to the U.S. border, to the territory, you'll be safe. You'll be relaxed. Out of nowhere, a freaking torpedo comes. You can see behind you. You can still see the skyscrapers of New York, and a torpedo slams into you. That's insane.
0853, finishing her off. Some 39 survivors being picked up by US warships and a fishing boat.
Huh.
Later, on the evening
Nice.
of the
I
14th
mean,
of
if
January,
you're gonna go down as a ship, might as well go down close to the coast.
Hardigan was close enough to New York to see the glare of Manhattan's skyscrapers in the distance.
Is that
He
actual
later said,
footage
"I cannot
from?
describe the feeling with words, but it was unbelievably beautiful and great. I would have given away a kingdom for this moment if I had one. We were
It's a
the
beautiful
first to
view.
be here, and for the first time in this war, a German soldier looked upon the coast of the USA."
Imagine he started bombing it, with the gun. I mean, the gun from a submarine, how powerful it is. But it's have been extremely traumatic, I think, for the American people. that this war on another continent affected them in New York City. Imagine like out of nowhere, like bombshells just piling in New York. Like maybe he, even if like he doesn't do that much damage, because how many bombshells does he have? But in terms of morally, mentally, it'd be
A photographer aboard U-123
oh yeah,
tried to
that's
get
actual footage.
very good nighttime shots of Manhattan
That's
and
insane.
also
That's
film,
actual
but it
footage.
proved difficult as the lighting
Look at this. Look how beautiful it is. And that's 70 years ago, 80 years ago.
conditions were far from perfect.
It's gorgeous.
In fact,
I mean,
later propaganda films shown in Germany of this momentous event used
hmm.
images that were faked with carefully lit models, but the effect was very close to what Hardigan and his crew could actually see. Incredibly, Hardigan had actually visited New York City in 1933 as a naval cadet and climbed to the top of the Empire State Building. Now he was seeing these very buildings from the other side out at sea.
It's beautiful.
Hardigan briefly considered entering New York Harbor to attack ships lying at anchor, but decided against this because of his lack of accurate charts. His U-boat could easily have been cornered and attacked in the harbor's shallow waters.
Makes sense.
Turning away reluctantly from the bright lights of Manhattan, U-123 motored away on the surface, again unthreatened by U.S. retaliation.
That's insane.
The next day, U-123 struck again. At 0941 on the 15th of January, Hardigan attacked the unescorted British steam tanker Coimbra, 27 miles off the Hamptons on Long Island. The torpedo caused a massive explosion as the oil tanks blew up,
Oh my
clearly
god.
visible ashore. The tanker sank into shallow waters in just 5 minutes.
That's insane. Imagine
Hardigan became
the
bolder,
mental.
next torpedoing the freighter San Jose only 1,000 yards from the Coast Guard base at Atlantic City, New Jersey.
That's
By the
when you're
night of the
like more
19th of
confident,
January, U-123 was off Cape Hatteras and would sink 3 more ships before heading back to base at Lorient in France. In a second war patrol to Florida, Hardigan successfully sank several more ships, earning him the Knight's Cross and Oak Leaves for these 2 operations.
The guy goes to New York, goes to Florida, over on vacation. What the hell, man?
And also gaining him a congratulatory dinner with Adolf Hitler, during which Hardigan rather soiled his copybook by reprimanding Hitler for not forming a proper naval aviation branch like the Allies had. As a result of the first attacks of Operation Drumbeat, the U.S. Navy instituted convoys in U.S. waters.
Yeah, I mean,
The U.S. Army ordered
gotta.
that coastal lights be doused or shielded to prevent U-boat commanders from using them to silhouette merchant ships to aid their attacks.
He was in New York and in
Times Square was
Florida.
given a dim out, that is, the famous advertising neon was switched off. After
Okay.
a series of training and staff appointments ashore, Hardigan ended up as a ground commander in 1945, in charge of a battalion of sailors fighting as soldiers during the final battles. After the war, Hardigan was a politician for over 30 years.
Jesus Christ.
Reinhard Hardigan died in June 2018. He was 105 years old. Thank
What do you want me to say to this story? This story is insane! This story isn't the guy crashes in the plane, becomes a commander of a U-boat, goes to fucking New York in 42, then goes to Florida, bam, survives all of that, comes back, fucking says to Hitler, hey bitch, you're not a very good planner, you should have done this, this, this. Then he survives the war and becomes a politician for 30 years and survives until he was 105? This story, this should be a movie or a series. This should be a series. It should be. I mean, I say it all the time, but come on, man, this should be a movie. The guy survives a plane. It's fine. Goes to New York, 42, submarine. Comes back, goes to Florida. Comes back, goes to Hitler, has a dinner. He says, hey, I have a better idea. He's like, what? Yeah. He survives the war, becomes a politician, dies at 105, and he had like a problem with his stomach. In 1940, with their medicine, dude, there are some people, man. Just you can throw everything on them, they come out fine. Someone you crosses the street left instead of right, fucking dies from whatever the most freakiest of accidents. This is insane. So the stories was amazing. I hope you liked it. I hope you like this channel. Go follow it. Go like this channel. Subscribe. This is an incredible story. As you can see, I was really hyped. I mean, come on, man. Um, so I hope you like this video. Leave a like. I don't like to beg for likes, but yeah. And I'll see you guys in the next one. See you guys.